I really wanted to talk about this topic that comes to me the most frequently out of any other topic in my business, and it is how to mix intuition with business, how to make that feel seamless, how to incorporate it, how to feel good about it. What I really wanted to do was get back out into nature, because where better to talk about natural energy and all of the ways that we interact with the natural progression of these energies right now than to be out under the trees amongst all of the elements. And this is the perfect place.
Before we get started, this is your friendly reminder to take some super simple actions. When you like, share, and subscribe to my videos here on YouTube, it really helps me grow my channel. But more importantly, you're actually helping me learn more about what you want. So don't forget to do that before we finish today's video. Thanks for being sensible, being woo, but most of all, being you.
It's been a hot minute since I've recorded a monthly energy report for all of you. I felt like I was just kind of doing what everyone else is doing, and it's not really helping anybody. And the thing that I really wanted to do was get back out into nature, which we're doing here next to a gorgeous waterfall under a canopy of old growth trees. So it's super magical out here. I really wanted to talk about this topic that comes to me the most frequently out of any other topic in my business, and it is how to mix intuition with business, how to make that feel seamless, how to incorporate it, how to feel good about it. And it's a huge topic, so it may be something that we pick apart over months, but because it's such a frequently asked questions, I was like, it's time. I need to record a video, and this way y'all can watch it whenever you want. I also have some friends in business right now who are in the process of doing what we call coming out of the broom closet. I feel like this is one small way that I can support them as they also go through this journey. It has definitely been a journey for me. Everybody's journey is different. As we get into this spring season, as we close out Pisces and we enter into Aries, so we're closing out one old energetic cycle and starting over a whole new fresh wheel of the year. Now is a really great time to do this kind of reflective exercise and to think about how each of us do this better. I know that for me, I am regularly thinking about how to do that better in my business. Let me see if I can break this down for you and not be completely distracted by this amazing tree energy that is all around here. The number one thing that I see people doing is they're getting kind of lost in the trees and they've forgotten about the forest, which is where the forest inspiration came from in the first place. I really feel like this is one of our weakest blind spots as human beings, especially those of us who love to learn and those of us who are super curious, which leads us down this witchy woo path. And what it does is it distracts us from the foundations that are honestly the things we need to learn. A really great example of this right now is human design. I use it in my own business. I've been using it for a while, but I didn't offer it for a very long time as an actual offering because there was still a lot of foundations that I needed to learn, a lot of things I needed to figure out. And what I'm seeing with people who are hot to trot on incorporating their witchiness into their business is they're diving into the weeds super fast, but they're also not taking the time to be really measured and accountable and ethical about it. So when we have this big energetic awakening, we want to share with everybody, we want to do everything right away with them, we want people to know what we know. But until you've gotten to a point where you are not operating in fight or flight, where you've done your somatic therapy, where you are truly operating from a place of emotional neutrality, energetic neutrality, it's really hard to offer that to anyone else as an actual service and as something that you incorporate into your paid offerings. Now, that's not to say that you can't incorporate your love of metaphysical modalities into your business as a way to let your audience and your customers know that you are one of them, that it is a safe space for that you can incorporate these things together. But what we don't want to do is start offering something just because we finally ran our chart. One of the best ways that I can explain this right now is from a lesson growing up as a teenager. I am a cellist by trade. I studied classical music so seriously through my youth, and I knew it wasn't my life path. I chose not to make it my career, my profession, or my life. But I still feel like to this day, the universe put that skill set in my frame of reference because it taught me some of these quintessential systems foundations, which is what I love to teach around here. It has totally led me to this path of you are your best system. So when we're talking about something like human design or astrology and incorporating it into your business, we're really talking about incorporating a system. So when I was growing up, I demonstrated a very fast aptitude for performing and learning the cello, and my teachers advanced me on and on to the next advanced instructor. I ended up studying with somebody who at the time was very well renowned in the field. I still remember my very first lesson with him to this day. I had become the best cellist in the studio that I had just come from. We actually sat and talked for about an hour in my very first lesson about what it means to go back to basics, what it means to back up just a little bit, to remaster certain foundations that enable someone to actually grow and get better and become a true master of their craft. Because it's inevitable that in order to learn something, you kind of go in that zigzag chart, like a chart of the stock market. Like it goes up, it goes down a little, it goes up more, it goes down a little, it goes up even more. And it's like that when you learn anything in your life. So it's going to be like that when you learn your magical arts. It's going to be like that when you learn a musical instrument. It's like that in your business journey as you learn how to sell and raise your prices and feel more confident about it. It's just a natural progression of how we as humans move through our lives. One of the things that I think so many of us in the magical arts who also like to incorporate it in our businesses need to do right now is to take things back a couple notches, make sure that we have fully mastered our skills. So in music, it was going back and learning how to cleanly play scales and arpeggios and chords and make sure that the skills in my muscles and in the fiber of my being were on such automatic replay that I could then advance and play the really difficult concertos and demonstrate a professional aptitude for this musical skill set. And in our businesses, it's the same thing. I remember talking about this with my teacher. He clearly wanted me to know because as a teenager, it feels like getting a demotion. You feel like you're being told to go back to the beginner ranks again after you've risen through to these advanced levels. And we had to talk about how it's not a demotion. And I've talked about this before on my channel. Those of you who've been with me a while may have already seen a video talking about the tarot progression from Hanged Man into Death. And if you haven't seen that, you can go back and watch it because we really talk about how there's no such thing as going backwards. This is an old paradigm in the metaphysical modalities and community that I actually find really unfortunate because it seems to still be rather pervasive, even if you have come from a community or a school of thought that doesn't abide by those principles. It's still woven into the fabric of that, and that is unfortunate. So you're not being demoted, you're not going backwards. You are making sure that the way that you accomplish a magical task or utilizing your intuition in your business is sound and true. It means that you are doing that deeper personal work. The you as the system, you are your best system, making sure that your system is fully online and its full emotional capacity, that the ego is not driving the car, that you know the difference between your ego and your intuition, that you know what it feels like to feel the intuitive hit as opposed to just sort of guessing or hoping or reacting out of fear. So for my March energy talk, it's not really a report anymore. I guess it's just a talk. I think it's important that we recognize how much this hustle bro culture is still very much alive in the metaphysical modalities, because I have mostly worked with women and female identifying persons in this space. I have to say how much the feminine energy is keeping this old paradigm alive. I have a real bee in my bonnet about this right now. I really want to see us become more aware, to be willing to dispel both toxic masculinity and toxic femininity, because those are the structures that try to keep power structures in place that prevent people from feeling like just because they go back to master foundations that somehow they're behind or that they're not doing enough. And that simply isn't true. I think the biggest energy that I notice right now in the collective is how much we need to remember that nobody's behind right now. You are exactly where you are supposed to be. But the need to go back to foundation principles is like the thing. In my own practice, I have been doing things like getting back out into nature and hiking. I have been taking up old skills that I really missed and love that bring me joy. And I think that is one of the most practical and powerful things that someone can do right now in this season. It's the thing that I would recommend for you if you are looking to bring your intuitive skills into your business more this season, because the energy is going to open up later this year. I've been channeling this energetic forecast for 2024 in my Sunday membership newsletter, where people get readings every week from me on Sundays specifically for their businesses. And in those readings, the first quarter is a little slower. We are meant to catch up. We are meant to cross our T's and dot our I's, go work on those foundational elements. And then in the second quarter, it's a lot of very deep introspective work. I feel like that is where we do the emotional grounding. It's where we do that somatic healing that we all need in order to engage in the third quarter, which is when we finally start putting down our new boundaries. We start working with the people we are meant to work with. We start closing out old doorways with people and places and offers that just simply don't function with us the way that we function anymore. In the fourth quarter, we actually start to feel like things are moving along. The fourth quarter is going to be a great time to start putting out the new offers or really publicizing them after testing them before the fourth quarter. And 2025 is when the energy really starts to pick up. So you're not behind. I think you're only behind, and I put that in air quotes, if you refuse to do the work on yourself, if you refuse to look at yourself in the mirror and say, do I feel capable of nurturing and loving myself into this next phase? Can I do it without anger? Can I do it without a manic high? Can I do it from a place of calm emotional neutrality, so that you have full access to the entire range of all of your internal magical abilities? Because your intuition is really you being highly, highly attuned to your emotional capacity. When people can read a room really well, it's because they can read other people's emotions. This is a skill that is just going to continue to grow and become more normalized in our business practices. It was kind of weird when I started out in my business, because people were like, how are you going to mix metaphysics and technology systems in the same space? They were like, you're nuts, you're crazy. And now I look around me in the space and there are so many people doing what I do, and it's really satisfying to see it. And it also shows me just how normalized these skill sets are, which makes it not weird to work on yourself. But if we don't do those foundations, we are going to have a problem. And that is the March energy report. It really, really is. Speaking of you being a really great system and getting to know yourself, I have finally opened up my human design reports and analysis that I have been doing for invite-only VIP clients behind the scenes. And I'm finally opening that up to the public. And I'll have the link to that in the video description below this video, so you can go check that out. What I've been doing is I have been running everyone's charts and then giving you a 30-minute recorded video. I share the screen, I walk you through the report that I draw up for you based on your chart, and I explain everything to you. That way it helps you learn how you make decisions, how you're meant to operate in sales and marketing and your offers and collaborating with people, what your energy cycle is like, how you need to set up your home office or any office space. You'd be amazed at how much is in that chart that you naturally are born with in these patterns. And when you know them, it helps you operate more seamlessly. Other people call this manifestation work, when somebody is in great flow with themselves. I call it operating in your natural patterns. It's knowing what your pattern is and honoring it and not trying to resist it. and learning how to use it for your benefit. I love astrology. I love numerology. I love the Enneagram. I love all the things. I love Myers-Briggs. But none of them will help you do what you need to do as well as human design. Human design so far has been the most comprehensive system. I highly recommend it, so you can hop in there with me and I will run your charts for you.
If you're still with me at this point, you probably really love my material. And if that's the case, then I invite you into joining my special group of subscribers. The links are all in the show notes below this video. You can join my free Saturday newsletter where I send weekly tarot and Akashic readings just for entrepreneurs and small business owners. And then there's another group on Sundays that receives extended readings for the week. And in 2024, the subscription rate is just $19 per month.
All right, I hope you enjoyed being out in nature with me. I'm gonna try to do more of this. I'll also find some walks where I can actually just walk with you. But this hike today has been pretty magical, and I will see you next time.